different. Do we want to be in a single family investment property? Do we want to be in a small multifamily? Do we want to be in a commercial multifamily, so a larger, like an apartment building? What would you say is your strategy on property type? What would you identify that at? Put that in the chat for me. Multifamily, okay. Anything else? Commercial, okay. Anybody else? Multifamily. Okay, I love it, right? And so when you're thinking about area, what does that look like, right? And so I know a lot of us are from the Philadelphia area, but some of us are outside of the Philadelphia area. What would you say if you had to select a zip code? What kind of goes into you putting that together? And while you all put that together and try to just shoot some areas that you've been interested in, I'm going to share another slide. Hold on. What are some of the things that you all are thinking? 1913. Tell me what neighborhood. I have a lot of zip codes in my head. I didn't memorize them all. I'm not even gonna lie. Tell me where that is. Philly in Florida. I love that. 4-1. That's Kensington. I think that Kensington has some possibilities. I do think that it will grow. It has grown exponentially in these last couple years. I personally haven't invested in Kensington. I know some investors that won't. I think that it really comes down to learning and knowing what what is going to be developed there, because most of us are trying to learn what's really going to happen in these neighborhoods. And instead of us trying to predict, we just want to know, like, we want to be able to just put our finger on it, right? So one of the things that I do is I'm trying to pull this up, and I do apologize. We talked a little bit about empowerment zones yesterday, but that's the easiest way to figure out how to or where to invest, right? So pull this map up, of course. I got it. So the easiest way to learn about being or where to look for an investment property is to look in the opportunity zones in Philadelphia or any other city or state that you're thinking of investing in. When you look into these zones, this allows you to see exactly where the dollars are going to come and what you need to do in order for you to be able to or see where some of the bigger investors are. So the easiest way is to figure out, is to look on this map, which is a public map, right? So of course it's not working for me. Hold on. Let's see. Let me see if I can get the actual map to come up a little bigger. But as you can see, this is our city, right? So right here, the opportunity, it's called Phila. I'll drop this in the chat. This map is public to everyone, right? So opportunity zones are exactly where the dollars are going. So remember yesterday we were talking about like around Broad and Erie, and kind of where that comes into. As you can see on this map, I'm trying to end. Whoever said Kensington, it's on this map. It's getting some opportunity money. Port Richmond over here, like on that Delaware River, or where the casino is, all of that is getting money. Up here, this is like that Broad and Erie area. We were using Alberta um, as a example last night, and the property that she's purchasing is going to be in an opportunity zone. It's also in an empowerment zone. So she's able to get a lot of incentives on tax breaks and things like that, because the city is looking to bring more people and investors in that area. So they give tax incentives and things like that. That property is in an empowerment zone. But you can literally, this map is public. You can look onto this map and be able to decide where you're going to invest at, based on what this map says, right? Investing is not guessing. It is very strategic. You can know you should be looking. I think 2 weeks ago, in my cohort meeting with our ladies, and I went over with them to tell them, how to identify not only these opportunities or opportunities for equity, which is exactly what we want, but being able to identify the opportunities so that they're the most profitable to us. You don't have to buy the whole zip code. You just need one property, right? And so when you are identifying where you want to purchase it, knowing that you can go through and see exactly where some of the big investors are going to be. As an investor, you should know the city's 1-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan, and 20 plan. That's all on the city website. You should be abreast of that information. Every single move that you make can be calculated because all of the information is out there. When you think about developers, investors, they're not smarter than us. They just know how to access the information. Is that is this resonating? And I need to figure out how I can see you all and talk to you, because I don't know if it's registered or not. So that's why I keep asking the questions. Is it registering that we understand that we need to be abreast of what is going on and where we're investing? We need to know. Is that apparent? We good? I need yeses from everybody. Is everybody awake? Let me know, because this is important information. This is what investors do. We know the 1-year plan of a city, the 3-year plan, the 5-year plan, the 10-year plan, and the 20-year plan. All of this information is public information. It's not something that's hidden. What the difference between a developer and an investor that is already established from us is that they took the time to look at the information. There's no judgment. I scroll on social media every single day, just like everybody else. But as much as I scroll, I match that time with learning about what my plan is going to do, and forever engaging with the information that is out there that is free to us. The city has incentives for investors to come here. Most of the time it's tax breaks. It's not necessarily grants and things like that. But if you know that these areas in blue are going to get federal dollars, what does that mean for us? That means that if you have a relative that lives in this area and they're thinking about selling, and you were like, all right, just let them sell their house. Instead of that, no, uncle, okay, you can sell your house, but sell it to me. Because the thing that the leg up that we have on big developers and investors is that they're not from here, right? They're from New York. They're from California. They're from overseas. They're not from here. We have the home court advantage because these are the neighborhoods that we grew up in. This is the neighborhoods that we love. These are the neighborhoods that mom still owns a house there. Like, these are things. We have a home court event literally because we're here. We're able to touch. We're from these different neighborhoods all over the city, and we're like, shoot, I didn't even realize this was happening in my city. And it's so important to be abreast of this information. This website, you'll get lost here, right? Because it will tell you, like I was telling you all, even Avenue. We were going through this with my cohort members the other week, and I was telling them like Adams Avenue has been like just that Home Depot up there, the Walmart that is crazy, that's up there, right? But Adams Avenue is about to go through, when I tell you, let me see how many dollars. The amount of dollars, I don't know if it says it on this particular one, but the amount of dollars that this area of our city is about to receive is tremendous. So if you have property over there, or if you know someone who does, that area has been neglected for a really long time. But whenever you see banks moving in an area, so they just opened up a Chase bank in that shopping center, another, I think a Bank of America is coming in that area. Whenever you see that, you know that there's about to be some dollars that are put to use. And in addition to that, there's all of this red are vacant buildings or underutilized buildings. So I'm not telling you to buy a warehouse, but instead of thinking, well, I'm going to do if I know some people want to do like event spaces, instead of thinking like I'm going to do a storefront, why not buy a large warehouse and make it a funky looking space that people want to rent out, especially since you know you're about to get a huge tax break here, right? And even the zoning in the area, like a lot of it is single family residential, but then there's a lot of it that's industrial, a lot of it that is like parks and things like that. Knowing this and knowing what areas, and this is just one area, is going to help you, even knowing like what new construction has been approved in the area already. So whenever they're putting resident, you see right here, they're putting 1,000 residential units in this area alone. Just this little area around where that Home Depot is on Adams Avenue is about to get 1,000 units. Do you know what that means? That means more jobs. That means that there's going to be an influx of people in the area. If you're thinking about opening a daycare, that may be a great idea, because people are going to need childcare in the area, because the daycares that are already there are going to be flooded with kids because there's going to be more population there. These are strategic things that you can do. And all of this hasn't cost us any money so far, right? Has anybody paid any money so far? No. Right. And so this is the thing that you can do on your time. Instead of, you see how we scroll on this site so we can learn what's happening in our city. And there's so many information sessions. When I go to information sessions, there's nobody there that looks like us, especially even if there are other African Americans, there's hardly any African American women. The next time I go, I'm gonna put it on my social media and y'all meet me down there, right? Because it's literally like me and this like other woman that we see each other at each thing, right? It's so important that you guys are in tune with what's happening in our city so that you can make sound decisions, so that you're not so you're not feeling like you're so unsure about what needs to happen next, right? So now as we go through the property type and even thinking about area, and we know how to identify areas that make sense now. And the other thing about area is being a Section 8 landlord, right? So if you're thinking, how many people are thinking about being a Section 8 landlord? Put that in the chat for me. Right? So the Section 8 landlord chart allows you to see exactly what the rents are that Section 8 is going to pay. Now, this will update next month because it updates every October, like I said last night. But if you're thinking to do single families in a certain zip code, we know exactly how much rent Section 8 is going to pay. So the strategy could be, you know what, Jasmine, I'm going to look for the ugliest houses in group 5 because I know Section 8 is going to pay me the most money in this group. And if I could identify the ugliest houses in this group, then it's going to yield me the most, and it's going to give me the most profit. That's a simple way to identify an area, right? And then it's even more, if you cross-reference it with the empowerment zones, then now you're in a sweet spot. Not only do you know how much you're going to get with just providing affordable housing, but now you know that you're in an area that's going to be highly incentivized and developed in the upcoming years, so that you can know where to invest at. Is that clarity on where to invest? Let me know. Let me know. Does that give you all clarity? Let me know. Mhm. This allows you to be able to identify where you're going to go. There's no more, I don't know. I don't know what neighbors is about to go through gentrification. I don't know what neighbors is about to come up, because we know to go on that website, see what the city plans are, then come back. If we're going to be Section 8 landlords, we can cross reference it with these zip codes, that and then identify exactly what Section 8 is going to pay us in rent. And now we have an area. That's tonight's homework. I need you all to identify the areas. When we get back on tomorrow night, I want to know, because now there's no excuse, right? So in our framework, when we're thinking about area and we know, what area and kind of the affordable housing or whatever we're going to do, now we go into figuring out our range, right? So going through the pre-approval process for getting approved for a rental property is actually pretty simple, right? You want to go through and you're going to need 2 years of tax returns. You're going to need a LLC that is established. And then you're going to go through and you're going to need a business bank account, right? Those are some of the broad strokes. Of course, there may be more things, but when you do that, now they'll be able to determine, based on what you have saved, how much you can be approved for a property. Now, it is asset based, so it's based on the property. It has to go through and meet some of the rules, like the 65% rule and things like that. But as long as it meets the rules, we're able to move forward. And you know specifically what you're looking for. So now when you're talking to a realtor and they're asking you, well, how, what do you want to do? You have a specific strategy, and a buy box is what I call it. Your buy box is, hey, realtor, I want to buy a property that is under $120,000 in these empowerment zones. It's a single family, and I'm looking for something that I can buy and hold. That's a strategy. That's not just, Jasmine, I want to make some money, right? And so then the next thing that you want to determine is what kind of renovation you want to do, right? Some of us, like I said, want to be turnkey. It's nothing wrong with it. I recommend that you go a little step beyond turnkey and do something that's like a cosmetic renovation, where it's just kind of like, you're putting in a new kitchen, you're putting in a new bathroom, and maybe the electrical system is good. I looked at a property on Monday. The woman had replaced the heater, and she had gotten the city, I'm sorry, to replace the heater, the hot water heater, and the roof. The rest of the property wasn't, it was in disrepair, right? But it was things that we could go in and paint. We could, the electrical system was brand new. We could replace the floors. We could update the kitchen and make it pretty again, bring it back to life. That's an ideal situation. I identified a property that would make sense. You can get into it rather easily and get in there, get it fixed up, get it rented out, and pull out the equity so that you can get on to the next one, right? And so then you want to identify the level of return. What is your cash on cash return, right? And so we'll talk about this a little bit more tomorrow. But when you're investing money, you need to know how long it's going to take you with your investment to get your money back. That's important. You want to at least have a 12% return or cash on cash return of your investment. And the reason why that is important is because you don't want to have your money that you're not getting your money back within a 2 or 3 year period, because you could do some other things to get your money back faster. Let's not look at it as, some people are like, well, oh my goodness, I can't buy a $200,000 property. And I asked them why. It's like, well, that's such a big investment. But remember, it's a percentage, right? So if you're investing, $20,000 and it's a duplex and you're going to get your money back in a year, then that means that it's a good investment because you're able to get your cash on cash return. If you are going to invest something huge, like, $100,000 in a project, and it takes you, 10 years to get the money back, that might not be such a good investment. And so knowing your numbers and measuring and becoming very comfortable with that is essential with this, right? Identifying what kind of return you're looking for and having rules for yourself. And like I said, 12%, I don't let any of my students, anyone that I'm advising or strategizing for, not get at least a 12% return, because if not, you could just put your money in an index fund, right? And just kind of get a return kind of modestly and not have to deal with toilets and things like that. The cash on cash return is really, really important. And the last thing, a part of this framework, is your exit strategy. A lot of people don't think about how they're going to get out of the property. Now, I don't mean to sell it. So for me, with my children, a bulk of my portfolio is in trust for my children. It's the exit strategy for me. The reason why I set it up as a trust is because I know my daughter. My daughter will sell my properties and go and live in Paris somewhere, right? I don't want that. I want her children and her grandchildren to be taken care of. So most, not all of them, but a lot of our properties are in trust. And there's a plan that's outlaid, and that's the exit strategy. And when I expire, when I pass away, right? Your exit strategy could be, I want to flip this property in 6 months. I need to be able to sell it so that I can get more money. Exit strategy could be, I want to refi this property so that I can take out the equity to invest even more. There's so many ways to get out of a property, but you should have an exit strategy in mind so that when you are investing in it, you're making a sound investment. And every business, any type of investment, any type of venture or anything has to have an end. When you don't think about the end, that's why you have people that build up these portfolios, or grandmom or pop-up that has property. They have a lot of properties, but they never did a will. So now family is fighting over property and they don't know what to do with it. Or no, they never taught anybody like, hey, you have to pay the taxes. And now people are losing their properties to taxes and not paying the bills on it. You have to pay insurance on the property. People don't, they never taught people that because they were so busy getting it done. Now they're losing these properties because there was a fire and nobody had kept up the insurance policy. Having an exit strategy allows you to put something in place that's in writing, right? That allows you to say, not even, I'm talking about death, but that's a part of it, but even just in life, right? You could just say, hey, I want to build this portfolio up so that I'm able to have, $1 million portfolio, and that money at the end of 10 years, I want to just cash out and go and move to Bali. Sounds like a plan to me. Invite me, right? But that's the exit strategy, right? And exit strategies are important to have on every single property when you go in. One of the things that I ask people when we're investing, when you start out, is what's the plan? What are you going to do? Are you leaving this to your children? Do you just want to hold this for 5 years and take advantage of the tax benefits and then sell it? Like, what does that look like? What do you want to do? Make sense? I know I did a lot of talking tonight. Mm. Should we create an exit strategy per property or for our overall investment portfolio? It depends. That's a personal preference. Some properties, I have a flip that I'm working on now. That's just a flip. That's not a part of my whole portfolio, and not a part of a long-term plan. It doesn't have to be the same for every single property. So I would say, yes, on an individual property basis, you're going to just kind of look and see what you want to do and make a plan for that property. But it could be that individual property is a tribute to the entire overall plan. What I don't want you to do is overthink it in the planning stages. I want you to go ahead and make a decision and know the end game with the property, and go ahead and take action on it, right? Because a lot of us think, oh my goodness, setting up a trust is a big deal, right? I don't recommend that everybody do it, right? Everybody doesn't need a trust, right? You don't, sometimes, the amount of properties, you could just have a will that's set, in knowing how to manage it, right? A trust is expensive to set up, right? So it may not be worth it for what you need to do, especially if you are setting up something that you want to be able to kind of refinance, pull the equity out of it, all of those things. And a trust, in some cases, you're not able to do that. So I don't recommend that for everybody. Just knowing what my plan was and how I was building or am building my portfolio, it was important for me to have something in place because I am a single parent and I want to make sure that my children are taken care of if I'm here or not. Right. So those things, that's why the planning stage and the thought process, and even the strategy session is so very important, because if you don't figure it out and if you don't move forward and you just kind of just have these like wild thoughts of like, okay, I think I'm going to do this and not have a solid plan, that makes you not take action. If you don't know what you're doing, you like, I'm not doing this, I'm not losing my money. But then when you feel more confident in it, you feel more secure in your decisions or what the future decisions are, then that's when you take action. Any questions? Anybody have any questions? Please raise your hand. Good, Lauren. How are you? Any questions tonight? Because we had some really good questions last night, and I was glad that you will ask those. Let me know raise your hand if you have any questions for me based on the information that we talked about tonight. So important that you all are taking action. If you don't have any questions, any comments that you may have, or anything that you want me to go over that you're still unclear about, let me know, right? Because again, here, this is really just to really spark the possibilities. You're not going to learn everything that there is to know in real estate investing in 3 days, right? It's really a lifelong journey. And even with coming up with a strategy, I don't expect you to leave with a strategy today, but this is going to get you to start thinking about what your strategy could look like, right? I did this exercise with my students, and their their stuff is down here. And one of the things that we did was we looked at exactly what they wanted to do, right? So Nashaya, who's actually on here tonight, she just closed on her property last week. She wanted a long-term rental property. It's a single family. It's a 2-bedroom over in Germantown. It's actually cheaper than what she was thinking. I think she bought it for 65,000 or 61,000, something like that. And then she wanted to do a cosmetic renovation. She wanted to invest for cash flow and equity, and she's going to refi and hold and pull out the equity so that she can do it again in 3 months. That's a strategy, right? Not just, I want to make money. Anybody think or want me to run through with them on setting up their strategy? Let me know. We got 7 minutes. I think is this easy to know or to outline? Or is this adding more confusion? Hey, Rhonda, can I unmute you? Hi,
Hi
how are
there.
you?
How are you?
Good. So let's talk about strategy. Let me ask you some questions so that I can help you come up with a strategy really quickly, okay?
Okay.
All right, hold on, let me see. Okay. So Rhonda, tell me, knowing what we went over tonight, what do you think that your strategy is going to be as far as like what kind of property? Is it long-term, short-term, midterm, value add?
Okay, so I was taking some notes down, and I'm gonna look at you said to do some homework, so I'm gonna look at the opportunity zones
Okay.
link that you sent over,
Okay.
just like a better understanding of like the areas and what areas would be smarter to invest in.
Sure.
And when you said something about I was actually thinking, instead of a multifamily, I actually wanted to start out with an event space. I don't know
Okay.
if that would be smarter, if maybe like, because I know we didn't get to finish our meeting the first time. But I kind of just wanted to start out with that and then start taking a closer look at the finances part.
So event spaces, I think, have the ability and capabilities to go really, really crazy and big, right? When you have a populated city like we do, there's always going to be something happening, right? What I want you to
Yes.
do, what I want you to do though, is think outside of the box of what kind of is traditional in the event space sector, right? So a lot of us think of like baby showers and bridal showers and repast and things like that. What I want you to do is think bigger, right? So when I think about event spaces, I'm not only thinking about I want it to be used and in use every single day, right? That's something that's important. So if we can identify a building that's on the commercial side that's able, the return on an investment on an event space is tremendous, right? You're able to get so much, um, so much money from each weekend that it's rented out. But on a daily basis, let's think about what we can do to be able to get this space rented out no matter what. I like a multi-use space. So I'm helping a friend. She's a hairdresser. She's looking for she does locks. So she did my locks, right? So she um is doing that, and she's looking for a space that doubles on, when she's not using it as a classroom, it doubles as, a really nice place like an art gallery. She's gonna really, do it. And that helps the business owner's bottom line so that you are able to generate income all of the time, right? So if that is the case, then yes, I think that looking at the financials of that can be optimal. The only thing that I would suggest, especially with purchasing a commercial property, is that you get yourself in position to get SBA financing, right? So small business financing will allow you to not only not have to bring hardly any money. I'm doing a deal with my girlfriend who is a daycare owner. She's purchased in a daycare. She only has to come with $20,000. We were able to secure the building, which is like, I think it's 395 or yeah, like 395. We were able to secure her working capital for $100,000 and equipment capital for another $100,000. So like a $600,000 package, she's able to secure this daycare and only have to come out of pocket $20,000. She's going to make, um, one second. And she knows I'm sharing this. So she knows I use her as a an example because she kind of, hold on, let's see. So one of the things when we're doing business development for our clients, um we do projections, right? So with her projections and just looking at, kind of how, how many children she can get into the new space and looking at, what it could potentially cost her. Her projected revenue was just on under $1 million a year, right? And that's not even at 100% occupancy. It's for 70%, right? So knowing that we were able to present this 1-year projection report to the SBA, and that's how she was able to get the financing. So what I would do with you, if you really want to do this, I would set up a strategy with you. And we would put together something like this to be able to predict what would happen in the area, look at competition in the area, look at, we did, my team, myself and my team did all of that. After she pays her salaries, she's paying a director, an assistant director, and what they call student education partners, which are like part-time learning partners. She was still able to project a profit of about $508,000, right? This is based off of this one building and creating a business that works, right? So if you want to deep dive in this, this is where I live. This is like where I thrive in the numbers, right? But the event space is going to have to be more than just baby showers. There's nothing wrong with that, but we have to build out a space that is a conference space during the week for businesses. Like it has to be able to have some really predictable income that's coming in so that you can go ahead and really build something. Event space, you could easily make $500,000. But you got
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely be interested in starting out with that first.
okay. All right. So we'll talk about that as far as strategy, right? So hold on, let me see if I can go back. So we're talking about commercial, and then we're talking, you would be in an area you're thinking about affordable housing or empowerment zone, correct?
Yes.
And then we would think about how much you can get approved for, look at that. And then the kind of renovation, would you want something that you're completely building out, or you want something that's kind of like maybe something that was turnkey and you were able to just kind of come in and just put your finishing touches on?
So that's another thing I had a question on. If you're looking at something that's like completely like that you have to when you have to put way more money into something, obviously that isn't how you want it to look, and you have to get it that way with construction, so the cost would be higher.
It is,
Versus,
but the return is higher as well because you're doing what they call a value add, right? So you
okay.
are, you have a property, and then you're investing money in improving it. It's forcing the appreciation of the property. It's forcing the value of the property to go higher, 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 simply because you are doing improvements. Like my house is worth more than what we bought it for because I've upgraded the master bedroom. I put another bathroom in here. We installed a laundry closet. We're going to renovate the kitchen. Like all of those things increase the value of a property on the inside. So when it does appraise, it outputs more. So, but you could be like, Jazz, I still don't want to deal with contractors. And it turnkey, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that the return on your investment is going to be lower.
Okay.
Okay. And so what would be the exit strategy? Is it a business that you would think about selling for the event space? Or is it something that is just going to be passed down? Like what would you think, right? And you don't have to know this right now. I would love for you to give it some thought. Shoot me a
Yeah,
message.
I'll think about that one
You think
because I'm
about it. Okay.
good.
All right. I love that. But that's a strategy, right? So now you're thinking in your head, like this is a strategy that you can apply to so that when you do get someone to help you, now they're able to help you because you're clear on what you need and what you want versus like, I just want to make some money. Thank you so much, Rhonda. And make sure you get back
Thank
on my
you.
calendar. I know we've been kind of playing tag.
Yes, I know. I know.
No
Thank
worries.
you so
Okay.
much.
Of
All right.
course.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. All right, ladies, let me see. I think I saw a question. Is it possible to do an event space with multiple rooms, something like a hall, I guess? You can do whatever you want. That's what I tell people. Whatever you want to do, you can. Um, I've been to weddings where there's been multiple weddings happening at once, and there's like a ballroom at hotels and stuff like that. You can do whatever you want. Sure. Quick question. I signed up for sessions that are starting 19. Is this that class? Yes, Tiffany. Did you get my email about Saturday? Hopefully you did. If not, shoot me a message. All right, ladies, I'm gonna let you go. Make sure you go to that website, look at the empowerment affordable housing zones so that you can take some time to know exactly where you're going, what areas are going to get the most money in the next couple years in the city. That's gonna make it easier. The reason why that's important is because when corporations move into areas like Targets and places like that, that means that the values in those areas really come up. And it makes it a lot easier for you as an investor if you know in 10 years that there's about to be, a large commercial corridor that's coming or a revitalization of a current corridor. Now you already know what's coming, and you can be able to get in early to invest in that area and just rent out your affordable housing, rent out your Section 8, whatever it is. And then when the area turns, you can either hold on to it and just ride it out and see the turn and keep investing in that area, or you can be prepared to have the exit of selling. I will see you all tomorrow night. I can't wait. Make sure you send me your questions, send me your links. Again, if there are, I know some of you want to join us on Saturday. I will send you a registration link. You just have to send me a message. For those that already had, I think Bronza, Tiffany, Shamika are on here, and you guys are already a part of that list to join us on Saturday. So I hope that you can. If you can't, or if you don't want to, or if you can't, if you still want to join and you haven't enrolled in that, then make sure you send me a message, because I'm going to show you guys what an investor is doing out by the airport, and using and leveraging midterm rentals in order for him to be able to make some money. So I can't wait to see you all on Saturday. I can't wait to see you tomorrow night. For those that weren't able to get in, I'm going to do a bonus session on Sunday so that we can wrap things up with a pretty bow. And everyone, of course, is invited, but I do understand that there were some issues with Zoom last night. So I want to make sure that I make it up. Let me know, are you guys getting value? Is it starting to click? Is it starting to make sense? Yes, Alberta, send it to me, honey. I know Tiffany, it's funny because Tiffany and our sons go to the same school. So I'm gonna be done at 8 and I'm gonna run over to the school, but yes, it will be recorded. Yes. Yes, Alberta, just message me, honey. Everybody good? Is there anything that you're learning that's a little different? Hey, Dawn. That's a little different than what maybe some of the other information that you're getting. I lead with value. That's it. That's all I care about. I don't care about anything else. I don't care who shows up. I'm gonna still do the same thing. It's value. Let me know. If you learned anything new, what are your action steps? What are some things that you're gonna look into now? Put that in the chat and then I'm gonna let y'all go. Let me know. Mixed and commercial. Okay. I'm inspired to, I tell you, especially when the event space idea. Hey, checking the zoning areas. Awesome. Opportunity zones. Awesome. Yes, you're actually helping me create an achievable strategy. I love it. Yay. Anything else? Checking the empowering zones. I love that. Okay. All right, ladies, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow night, and we're gonna wrap this up. And Sunday, like I said, I'm gonna do that bonus day just to make sure that you guys get it. And so I will, we'll have a session. I think what I'm gonna do is have a session that I'm able to see your face, because I need to see all faces. So I definitely want to make sure that I'm able to do that. All right, let me get to my next meeting. I actually have another class. We're going hiking in a couple weeks, so they're doing a session tonight. So I will see you all tomorrow. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you all tonight. Thank you.
The recording has stopped.